right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
We are starting with breaking news tonight out of South St. Louis County. Here's a live picture of a massive police presence at South Rock Hill Road and Party Road. This is in Afton. A man and woman are dead after a police pursuit ended in a crash and shots fired. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson. Within the past half hour, we have learned new information about what led up to the events tonight. Missouri Highway Patrol says around 4 this afternoon, Texas Authority contacted the patrol saying a wanted man was en route to the St. Louis area. About an hour and a half later, troopers located the suspect vehicle on Interstate 44, attempted to stop it. During the pursuit, the suspect exited on Elm, then onto South Rock Hill Road, where the driver, according to police, got into a rollover crash at Party Road. A few moments later, shots were fired.
The crash happened, and then that's when shots were fired. Like I said, I don't know the exact nature of who shot what first. All I know is that troopers did fire shots. The 2 subjects in the vehicle are deceased, and then another firearm was recovered next to the suspect's vehicle.
We don't know why the man was wanted by Texas police or the relationship between the man and the woman. The Highway Patrol is handling the investigation. And 5 on Your Side will stay on top of this breaking story. Look for updates on air, online, and on the 5+ streaming app. Tonight, 2 Metro East high school football teams put the rivalry aside to honor a teen recently killed in a car crash in Monroe County. Robert Townsend takes us to the somber event at Columbia High School.
Long before the first throw, interception, or touchdown Friday night, the Columbia Eagles and Waterloo Bulldogs paused on purpose. The longtime high school football rivals first locked arms on the field, and then a moment of silence. Touching tributes to 15-year-old Crawford Bryant.
He was just amazing. He was a breath of fresh air.
Crawford was a wonderful young man, full of life.
Hank Harrison's nephew's life was tragically cut short over Labor Day weekend. The Columbia High School soccer player and 10th grader was killed in a high-speed crash on Hanover Road in Monroe County Sunday. 3 other students were injured.
I think everyone loved him, and I think it shows with the amount of support we have.
Columbia and Waterloo players, parents, and fans all wore orange and blue in a strong show of support, love, and unity for Crawford, his hurting family, and friends. Hundreds of people also put on their special Together as One t-shirts for this special team.
Waterloo and Columbia have a rich history of friendships and battles on the football field and on the basketball court and soccer. It's just been wonderful. Wonderful support from both communities.
Crawford's big brother Hudson is a linebacker for Columbia's team. Tonight he hit the field for one purpose, in honor of his brother.
Crawford's inspiration in life was Hudson. He was his hero.
It's amazing. The whole community has come together.
Robert Townsend.
A wonderful child who was taken too soon.
5 on Your Side.
And the 3 other boys hurt in the crash are recovering from their injuries. One is still in the hospital tonight. Well, the Melville community gave back to Ferguson officer Travis Brown tonight. The Melville football team and Booster Club created shirts to raise money for the injured officer during tonight's game against Northwest. Brown played football at Melville in 2005. We found a highlight of him scoring a touchdown against Kirkwood. Hopefully we can show that. One of the former coaches says he was the athletic star of the school. Officer Brown remains in a coma after suffering a brain injury last month after being tackled by a protester in Ferguson. Starting Monday, new security measures will be in place at an East St. Louis Metrolink station. Riders at the Emerson Park station will have to show a security officer their valid pass or transit ticket before heading to the platform. Metrolink has plans to have more manned security gates in the coming weeks in St. Clair County. This is part of its secure platform plan to increase safety along the rail.
One of my teachers went out to go see what it was, and he peeked his head out, and then as he was shutting the door, he got shot. I'm very grateful he shut that door.
A growing memorial, flowers, messages, and signs outside Georgia's Appalachia High as the suspect in the deadly shooting made his first court appearance. 14-year-old Colt Gray faces 4 counts of murder in the shooting that left 2 teachers and 2 students dead. He will be tried as an adult. His father, Colin Gray, also appeared in court today. He faces charges of involuntary manslaughter, murder, and cruelty to children. Colin Gray is accused of giving his son an AR-style gun with the knowledge he was a threat to himself and others. And following the deadly high school shooting, there's been a lot of questions about Georgia's gun laws. Some claim the state doesn't require background checks for gun purchases and that K-12 teachers are allowed to carry guns. Verify's Ariane Daitil breaks down those claims.
In the wake of the school shooting this week in Georgia that left 4 people dead and 9 others injured, this post with more than 100,000 views makes a number of claims about Georgia gun laws, including claims that the state doesn't require background checks or permits in order to legally carry a firearm. Using these sources, here's what we can verify about that post's claims. We looked at Georgia law, and most of these claims are true, including the ability for people to legally carry firearms without a permit in most public places. Just 3 claims on that list need a bit of context. First, while federal law requires federally licensed gun dealers to initiate a background check before selling someone a gun, private gun sales are not subject to these regulations, and Georgia does not require private sellers to initiate background checks when transferring a gun. As for teachers and guns, in 2014, Georgia's state legislature passed a law allowing teachers to carry guns at school if a local school board approves of it. As of October 2023, only 3 out of 180 Georgia school districts had approved teachers carrying guns. And third, people with felony or other disqualifying convictions, such as domestic violence, cannot carry guns in Georgia. Federal law also bars most convicted felons and people convicted of misdemeanor domestic violence crimes from owning guns. However, Georgia is not among the 15 states with laws prohibiting people with other violent misdemeanors from buying guns. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Daitil.
Do you have anything you would like us to verify? Send an email to verify@ksdk.com. A warning from the St. Louis County Health Department about bats. What they recommend you do now if you spot one in your home.
If you're cold, they're cold. Bring them inside, right? Now, temperatures are in the upper 60s right now. Things changing a little bit. We got into the 80s today. A big change is in the way over the last 36 hours. What that means for your weekend and why you may need to dig out a few layers.
The St. Louis County Department of Public Health is issuing a warning about a possible increase in bat populations. They say they're invading homes, schools, and businesses. Out of dozens of bats that have been tested in the past couple of weeks, 3 have tested positive for rabies. The county health department says it is unlikely a healthy bat will bite, but you may not know if an unhealthy bat has bitten you while you're asleep. They rarely leave a mark. And if there is a concern, preventative rabies shots are available.
There's no fixed time for when you would start showing symptoms, but it is typically on the order of 4, 6, 8 weeks. Sometimes it can be shorter than that, sometimes it can be more than a year. But this is, we say rabies is rarely an emergency.
And while these guys aren't so welcome inside, outside bats are a necessary part of Missouri's ecosystem, keeping bug populations, especially mosquitoes and prop pests, in check. Tonight, Schlafly Beer brought back its Art Outside Festival in Maplewood. Schlafly designed the event to highlight local music and art. The event is highlighting more than 60 artists throughout the weekend. New this year, live glass-blowing demos, tarot card readings, and henna tattooing. A portion of the beer sales will go to Artists First organization. Art Outside lasts through Sunday. And meteorologist Gary Frank, I have a feeling the weather's going to be nice this weekend.
Yeah, very nice.
A lot of things outside.
Yeah, I think you've kind of deduced based on the conversations we've had not only today but the last few days, it's not going to rain at all at any point, really at any time. But now it's a matter of what layers are we wearing, because it's that time of year where we're thinking about it. And we look to the north first where the stuff's coming from. 40s. I know Ironwood's it's a different beast up there in the UP. 40s and mid 40s, and they're under a freeze warning, and you know that's what they're dealing with. We're not that cold, but that's what's coming here. Right now, though, in the upper 60s with a little breeze, that's noticeable. And as we kind of work our way closer to where that stuff is coming from, you could see 50s are behind it. That's on the way at some point. Now, it's a tale of two seasons here, because Thursday was 93 in the afternoon. Sunday morning, it's going to be 48 with temperatures a lot colder outside of the city. So that's a big difference for us here as we look ahead. Now, the first 6 days of September, we've been only rain-free 31 times since 1874. So, you know, that's not a lot. It kind of is a lot, but it's going to really shrink over the next few days. Talk to me in a week when this is the first 13 days, because I've looked at it. It's under 10. That's likely, and maybe even worse than that. Now, there's a little breeze right now, still gust up to 15 miles an hour. So that makes these 40s in the overnight make a little difference. It's going to be a little breezy here. You're going to feel that tomorrow morning. It's a little chilly. Make sure you have those extra layers. I think the afternoon is very nice, as we discussed, but we're going to be in the low to mid 70s with hardly a cloud in the sky. Now, for the most part, though, like I talked about, temperatures on Sunday morning, upper 40s in the city. Look outside of the city. Almost everywhere is in the low 40s, and I would not be surprised to see some of these really cool spots like Salem on the Missouri side, those valleys. Your car thermometer or this thermometer is going to say maybe upper 30s. It's not out of the question. It's going to be chilly. It's going to be still. That's what we look for here. Now, our big story and our big weather impact the next 10 days is, like I just said, I'm not optimistic about rain whatsoever. Now, it will gradually get hot again at some point, and by some point, I mean into next week. So we're not dipping into the fall stuff just yet. We're starting to bring out the quarter zips, other things like that. So we're getting our layers here, and temps in the mid-70s here. Upper 40s, like I mentioned, in the mornings. By Monday, Tuesday, we kind of forget that. It's not all that bad. You'll start off, but we're getting a nice break here as you can open up the windows, really cool down, add a couple of extra blankets, things like that. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees. That's a pretty steady diet of that. And then we'll talk here again in a week about no rain, because I think that's what we're going to be seeing here over the next few days. Not much rain, not much of a chance for rain. We're going to be reliant on some sort of pattern change, whether it's an old hurricane or something like that to come up north. Otherwise,
old hurricane.
Old hurricane. Yeah, there's not much rain going on, and it's quiet right now.
I like those numbers, Gary.
You got it. Yep.
All right, thank you. And thanks so much for joining us. Here's Corey Miller with 5 on your sideline.